Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love, still gonna die for what I love, still gonna try, I won't give up, still gonna fight until I've won. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left, and I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret, cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no. Some injuries, mentally and physically. Studied them religiously so I don't repeat history. And people won't admit to me they don't want a victory bad enough to get a C. They'd rather just go leave it be. And oh, this journey I've been on since 13, working hard and learning, never stopping searching. Yeah, it's burning, all this passion hurts me. I took action working, writing down these words. No, I'm not okay, I just wanna be something. I don't wanna be nothing, living all alone. No, I'm not alright, I'm just barely getting by. But I'll tell you I'm just fine, so you leave me alone. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left, and I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret, cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. We must increase vaccinations among the unvaccinated with new vaccination requirements.
It's not going to work. We have other countries with much higher rates of vaccination, and they're seeing record surges of COVID because that's what viruses do.
Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated.
Their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
Rest in peace, Wheezy.
We are going to need the people to engage in age-old American tradition of simply saying, no, I'm not going to comply. Now, what are you going to do about it?
It never stops. They want things to get worse because they want you to suffer so that they can grandstand on your suffering and push for even more control.
They have criminalized freedom. They've made getting sick illegal.
This isn't about COVID any more than the Patriot Act was about Al-Qaeda. It's about government asserting more control over your lives, your rights, your properties, and in this case, your bodily autonomy.
It has a lot of vaccinated people alarmed because of the power grab that's involved.
Enough is enough. We better change our tune and start resisting.
Government makes up less than 1% of the population. If even 5 or 10% of Americans simply refuse to comply, all of this goes away.
Absolutely, this is the hill worth dying on.
We haven't given the statutory authority
to any agency to do this kind of thing.
There is no such thing as government power. There's only what we are willing to comply to.
We're in the tough stretch, and it could last for a while.
That's what this has always been about. It's never about what they say it is. It's about controlling you. And it ends when we decide to end it.
This BS is going to stop.
It's time for us to
There's
wake
only
up.
one way to fight back against this, and it's mass non-compliance.
This is the most important thing to fight against.
You can help stop this. You are the power.
There's nothing, not a single thing we're unable to do if we do it together.
And I'm fucking livid that we are stuck in the timeline where Alex Jones is right. Kind of worse than it was.
Oh no! Oh, okay, no.
Why aren't the Amish afraid of COVID? Because they don't have TVs.
As I said, democracy is a system that reinforces authoritarian ideals.
I hope I don't get canceled. Talk to Steve.
Being a victim of a tragedy doesn't make you an expert in public policy.
Well, I mean, AOC is a drama queen and she's full of shit.
Remember, they lost the Afghan war 10 years ago.
You brought a freaking guillotine.
They said, you don't get to tell us no, we're the state health department, and I said, hell no.
It wasn't making Christianity better, it was making rock worse.
What the fuck do you have on your face, Olivia?
You want to make the world a better place? Have some babies and raise them to not be stupid.
I remember thinking, man, governments are not going to like this shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, shitposters, activists, people of the internet, free staters, libertarians, porcupines, anarchists, everybody welcome to the one and only review of the New Hampshire Democrats and Granite State Progress. They're going to be giving a webinar tonight about how awful and dangerous the ultra-extreme free staters, how dangerous you are to the state of New Hampshire. Right now, we're just waiting on them to let us in. They're going to let us in. They say they're going to let us in soon. We're not sure when they're going to let us in. If anybody else wants to jump on the stream, provide some commentary, the link is out there. I'll drop this link in the description if you guys want to come on. Not going to be talking much during the show, during Zandra's presentation, but I will be pulling up comments and letting things go wild. But anybody wants to jump in and contribute to the conversation, link is in the chat. You guys can follow that link. Jump up on. I'll bring you up on screen. We're joined quickly by Bill Barger, our native porcupine, ultra-extreme libertarian psychopath that Zandra Hawkins hates. Bill, what's going on?
What's up, buddy? Sorry I'm late.
You're not late. We're still waiting on them to let me in. I'll bring that up when they do let me in. They say they're going to let me in. It says window.
Good. I wonder if they know we're doing this.
There's no way they don't know we're doing this. I mean, the Free State Project did retweet it earlier. So but it's okay. We got multiple links to get in case they ever do. Shannon asked if they caught when Carlin did it the other night. So if you guys didn't catch Carlin on her channel the other night, did the same thing, review and played out one of their other webinars about the Free State Project's dangerous political activities and how they're doing what the Democrats have been doing for years and winning elections and how awful it is. But you can head over to Carlin's channel and check that out. It's hilarious. It's one of the best advertisements for the Free State Project I've ever seen. And then the other night, me, Bill, Jeremy, and Carla, we did an episode on the Free State Project's podcast, just tearing it apart about how great it was as an advertisement for us. And you guys should go check that out as well.
They're pretty great at just like taking bullet points of all the things we do, being like, look, we'll help you get a job. We'll help you make friends. We'll invite you to meetups. We'll, help you move.
Yeah, it's great. And there's a reason why in the poll in the chat right now, Granite State Progress is winning the poll as which organization has done a better job promoting the successes of libertarians in New Hampshire, the Granite State Progress or the National Libertarian Party. 92% right now are agreeing that Granite State Progress is our better advertising firm.
Dang, dude.
Well, I mean, when was the last time you saw the National Libertarian Party give a crap about New Hampshire?
I just love that this is not an endorsement of like the National Libertarian Party or Granite State Progress. Like really, like right. Neither of them is doing their job well.
Right.
You know, when it comes down to it.
Bill Stevens asking in the
Both
chat if
messed
you're going to
up.
be going to open mic this Saturday.
It's this Saturday. I might be able to. I think I can do that. Yeah, I should. At the out in Rollinsford. Yeah, tell him I'll be there.
Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. That's true. Like, I'm not in the business of criticizing free advertising. It's just fun to like make it go further, because hey, Granite State Progress likes to do this kind of stuff behind closed doors, and they don't like to let people know that they're doing it. And it really defeats the purpose of having a webinar. Why, if you're going to tell people how dangerous the Free State Project is, it should be public. It should be published. You should let everyone see it. And so I think we're doing them a favor by putting their message out on the internet for everyone to see.
There's no such thing as bad press, right? So we're using that, like, we're taking their bad press, which is good. And then even for them, if this is bad press for them, it's also still good press. It's not bad press, right? It's no, you know, everybody's winning here. It's good. I'm going to pull this up so I can look at the comments.
Yeah. Southern, you're right. They do care about New Hampshire, just not in the good way, when they try to destroy our state party and hand it over to the wrong people. Steven says the video the GSP did this weekend, we tweeted at them during it and they noticed. So if you tweet them this YouTube link, I'm sure they'll notice. Well, we don't want them to kick me out of the meeting. We want them to let me in the meeting first. I've got a couple backup links to try and get in, but we're going to wait. It's supposed to start in 5 minutes. We're going to see if they let me in. It says right there. It says they'll let me in soon. We're still waiting for them to let me in. It was like the hit ad on DeSantis and the Floor Ever purge. It was the total opposite of what they were trying. I haven't seen that one, Shannon. Send me a link on Twitter. Let them make the best case they can. Who knows? They might be right about something. So, Kurt, that's one of the points I made during the Free State.
Well, and that's the other thing, too.
They were right about everything, except how much money we had. They said we were incredibly deep.
Hey, no, we got projector money.
Yeah. Yeah. The single projector, the one thing AFP has ever given to libertarians in New Hampshire, other than a couple political victories and, you know, a majority of libertarians in the Republican caucus and the House of Representatives, and an increase in general prosperity and freedom in the state of New Hampshire for those who live here. But yeah, no, to that point, let them know, like, they were right about a hell of a lot more than they wanted, than they know they were right about. And we tore it apart. And like the clips that we pulled for the show on Monday night for the Free State podcast, it was like, oh, wow. Like, they're sitting here talking about all these great decentralized organizations who are working independently to promote freedom. And like, when they put that slide together, I was talking to Jeremy before the show, and some of them we weren't even aware of. Like, some of the libertarian organizations that we only learned about because Granite State Progress told us about.
Yeah, I also am curious, you know, if they do have criticisms of like what we're doing wrong, I'm open to like something that we could learn that like we're not doing right. But it seems like most of this, it's like, look at all the things they're doing right. We hate it.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's they're mad that we're successful, and I'm going to use that as advertising. Why the hell not? Why wouldn't we promote their messaging on that? But if they come up, if they can point out to us stuff that libertarians are doing wrong that is failing, well, that's a great way to learn.
But it seems like most of their ads are like, it's like, look how strong their community is.
It's like when people decide they're going to move. It's like they have a community that helps them move and helps them find jobs and helps them integrate into the local community and helps them build a better economy in New Hampshire. It's like, wow, those are some fantastic selling points.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would like to, and I don't know if it's like ever going to happen, but I really would like to get the Progressive State Project, like packing parties and stuff going on. Okay, do you really hate it here? You know, we really will help you. We want you to not have to deal with us.
I cannot wait until
I don't know how we do it, because like we need progressive friends. What's that?
Yeah, I cannot wait until the first person takes Alu and Dennis up on that and says, you know what, I'm moving. You guys handle my packing, and we show up with like 40 people to pack their house up for them.
Dude, there's probably money that could be made there too. Like there's probably a market for that, once it really gets some momentum, there's like definitely a real viable service where somebody could make some bucks. Like we help everybody move, but if you're progressive leaving New Hampshire, we give you 25% off. Like that's what I would do.
When I lived in North Carolina, I subscribed to the John Locke Center, which is, they're talking about the Josiah Bartlett Center, which, Bill, were you aware of the Josiah Bartlett Center before Granite State Progress complained about them?
I don't know what that is.
That's one of the
I've heard the name
organizations.
Josiah Bartlett.
Yeah. It's one of the organizations in New Hampshire that's working to promote libertarian policy that Granite State Progress is all upset about. And I had never heard of them. With Granite State Progress's free promotion of the Free State Project, they might as well start promoting the Progressive State Project as well. Yeah, we should call it the Massachusetts State Project. They don't even have to go far. They just got to go like a half hour south.
Well, no, because we could do that, but really I think there's room for us, and there's enough libertarians who do coding or have like a touch of the TISM. We could make like a whole quiz that lines you up with your best state, like, oh, you like full lockdowns, California, you like partial lockdowns, go to Massachusetts, you like curfews and vaccine mandates, like state vaccine mandates, go here. Or if you like, I don't know, to pretend you're free and carry guns and say everything's bigger, go to Texas, Texas don't they consistently rate as like one of the least free states?
Texas is the least free state on the scale of personal freedom when it comes to things like social freedoms. And that is one of the big problems people have when you're debating the whole which state is most free thing. You have the people like, well, Texas is really free. It's like, no, Texas is really Republican. It's super free if you're a hardcore Christian conservative. But that's about it. Like Florida is super free, but Florida has really strict economic controls over small and private businesses where the government tells them what they can and can't do in economic licensing and occupational licensing. It's like, oh, New Hampshire is free. But again, I'll be perfectly honest, we got really high and obtrusive property taxes in New Hampshire, and some of the local control and the zoning problems in New Hampshire make housing an issue. Like there's problems everywhere, and it depends on what scale you're looking at, which is more free.
Right.
Nolan,
I will say, I'm stoked about the. Nolan's a beast of a mover too, a beast of a mover. That guy will move. I've seen him pick up like a 400-pound safe with his bare hands. Yep. So, we were saying just a minute ago. I totally lost that thought. I feel like I poured a beer and I forgot everything I was saying.
Kurt asks, is Zandra late? I don't know if Zandra's late, Kurt, but they're late letting us in. And I'm going to try a different link. See
different
how
link?
Yeah. I did RSVP 3 separate times.
I wonder if they're on to you.
I RSVP with 3 different names. And Kurt, I know, said he had an RSVP as well. Kurt, do me a favor, see if you can log into your RSVP while I'm trying mine. They may just be running late. It's not like they're known for doing things on time.
Yeah, and also, what was it supposed to start at 6:15? 6:32?
6:30.
Oh, okay, so it's, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Should start any moment.
Should be letting us in.
Well, so, I guess they'd probably want to let people in before they started it.
You'd think.
I was at the Quill. I set up the projector for him.
All right. It says they're letting us in soon.
Also, I'll DM you about that. There's an event happening. What's that?
So we've still got the waiting for them to let us in, the meeting host. So, but if any of you in the chat had your own link and your own RSVP, and you can get in, you can tell us and let us know if they are blocking us. We can keep trying other links to get in. But it's also just possible that they're running a few minutes behind schedule trying to get everyone admitted.
I wonder if they have like a huge crowd.
A huge crowd of mostly Free Staters?
Well, that would be hilarious because I wonder. So, like, there was the other one earlier this week, right? Was it Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah, it was Carlin did the stream for it.
So they did that, and I know that like they had their stream and like there's a certain number of people in attendance, but then I am under the impression that between the number of people that watched your show, or I'm sorry, Carlin's show, and then our show, and then they had a whole stream and like a bingo. They had like progressive bingo at one of the clubs on the Seacoast.
Yeah,
where they're like, if they say critical race theory, you get a point, or if they say institutional racism, you get a point. So there's like a whole bingo game that they play with it. So I'm like, how many freaking Free Staters did show up to watch the hate? It's like going to, if you hate scary movies, I don't hate them, but I'm not a fan of scary movies, but I like watching them,
right?
Because of how bad they are. Like they never scare me. I'm like, this is so terrible. They didn't even write a plot. Like, I'm just never sold. I feel like this is gonna be the same kind of thing. Like you're not gonna convince me to hate the Free State Project. Part of me wishes that they could. Like I said earlier, I really wish they had some good criticism so we could lean into it. Maybe learn something to fix other than like progressives hate us because they ain't us.
Make it a drinking game and we won't make it 30 minutes. Well, Stephen Nass is in the chat. Stephen had the progressive bingo for Sunday night's one. Stephen, if you want to share the rules for the bingo card or drinking game in here, I'm sure people would love an excuse to waste a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bill will play along.
Quite literally. I'll play along. I'll go grab some more beers. That's the hardest part about that podcast we do on Mondays.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-beer podcast, and I have 1 beer to start with, and then I never get up for the second beer.
All right, so it's John Kurt is in the waiting room as well. So hopefully it's just they're running late and they didn't catch on.
I feel unprofessional getting up in the middle of it.
Only let the 5 people they know are coming. I would love to think of a good criticism they've come up with. I'd post it right here, right now, but I can't think of one. Me either. I can't think of a single one. All right, Steven's bringing up the bingo card. Or drink when they say.
Yep, I see that in the chat. If they make it a drinking game, we won't even make it 30 minutes.
Well, I don't drink, but...
Pronouns, Planned Parenthood, sexist, diversity, Wild West, insurrectionist. Oh, this is good. I have to write this down.
Extremist.
That's when you drink when they say any of those things.
Yeah. I mean, I did put pronouns in my name on my Zoom profile in hopes that would make it more likely they let me in.
Community, anti-government, misinformation, domestic terrorist. What'd you say? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, I put pronouns in my Zoom profile in hopes that would make it more likely they let me in.
Oh, nice. That's clever. What is that sound effect?
Shannon sent me the video for the Remove Ron, the Forever Purge, and we're going to keep that in the back pocket for later. Of Florida's version of Granite State Progress trying to get rid of Ron DeSantis by making an ad for him. Ultra extremist.
I bet you if you put that in the description, they'd let you in as your name for your profile. Misinformation. Man, there's so much here. Steven, you're getting us all drunk, dude.
Bigot, Trumpers, hate speech, secession, transphobe, equity, anti-vax, gun nuts, haters. What about the children? Our democracy. Coke.
Oh, our democracy is a good one.
Yeah.
It's like, whose democracy? Whose? Yours?
Dismantle public schools. Kurt put his pronouns Lord and Master. I approve of this wholeheartedly, Kurt. That is a great set of pronouns, and I will, from now henceforth, refer to you as Lord and Master.
Kurt? Who's Kurt? I feel like I don't know Kurt.
You know Kurt. You've probably met Kurt at the club. All right, let me check.
June 6th, Douglas. I'm writing all these down. It's so many. Jesus, Steven.
Do Wyndham Democrats have a Twitter?
This is basically like the as. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm trying to find their Twitter to see if they're announcing.
I was going to say, as the list. I see. As the list goes on, it's like you can really put almost anybody.
School boards. You might as well hook up an IV.
You can put almost hook up an IFA.
Hook up an IV to survive the alcohol, the drinking.
Oh, an IV. Yeah, dude. Just a slow drip, direct to the veins. Man, it's gonna be really disappointing if we don't get in. It could happen.
Well, they're 10 minutes late now.
Can I have a question. Does anybody know why they think that we're funded like so heavily by the Koch brothers or the Koch brother? Like, where does this like these super deep pockets theory come from?
But somebody pointed out on Twitter today that Granite State Progress is in fact funded by billionaire out-of-state money from Soros. And since they do so much to advertise for the Free State Project, that technically the Free State Project is funded by Soros.
Yeah, since we do use their stuff all the time as marketing. Actually, that's kind of so. This is probably what he does. That's how he owns everything. He's like, technically, I'm paying for your advertising. It's the whole no press is bad press. Catch 22 thing. Again, this is why I think they should let us into this meeting, even if they know it's us, because maybe then some other progressives who watch our stuff. Well, do we have progressives that watch our stuff? This is the thing. It's like
I got a few.
I don't know.
I got some crypto progressives from Canada that are on my channel.
Heidi Brion, is she from Canada?
Heidi's from Portland, Oregon. She's
okay.
Yeah, but I don't think she's a progressive anymore. Heidi is somebody who I got into an argument with when she was defending Marianne Williamson.
She seems fairly progressive, but like in the true sense.
Yeah, when I was getting in fights with Marianne Williamson on Twitter on a regular basis, Heidi would jump to defend Marianne Williamson. And then the more she started interacting with me and Jose and Reed Coverdale, she started coming around to things. And like Heidi's like a based libertarian now. Like she still wants universal health care. Yeah, she wants universal health care. That's about it. But like she thinks everybody needs their guns. She thinks vaccine mandates are fascism. I'm like, you're getting around. Yeah. You're coming around.
Did you ever have that interview with Marianne Williamson?
No, Marianne Williamson backed out of the show because she was scared of Reed Coverdale. All right. Does anybody in chat know a Twitter handle for the Wyndham Democrats?
Man, what if they started vetting these things and then we couldn't get any more? We'd lose a lot of free advertising. Almost got this whole list right now.
Because I've got two different devices, both in the waiting room right now. They're not letting me in on my phone either. So, and that's on a completely different account. It's still stuck in the waiting room.
And then you said Kurt's got a link too, so he might be.
He said he was still stuck in the waiting room.
Yeah. So this is all in one thing. The list. No one wants to see it. Hold on. Is that all in there? Yeah, you can see it all. Big. It's like a hole.
Yeah, that's enough
That's
things.
To get you drunk.
And there's nothing on the webpage about a delay, Kurt says. I just checked the webpage too.
I'm gonna look him up on Facebook.
But Shannon, you have not learned nearly enough about our misfit libertarian cult. Oh, and that's the point. That's a good point. David Koch was the libertarian candidate for vice president in 1980.
Only 41 years ago.
Yeah. And he did heavily fund like the Tea Party types.
Yep.
So that might be why.
Yeah, because I have like random progressive friends that like yell at me on Facebook, like, "Oh, you libertarians are all Koch funded. You're just like taking big money from corporations." I'm like, I'm not taking money from anybody. I just want to be left alone. You know?
Yeah, Kurt, the better of the Koch brothers is in fact no longer among us.
Yeah, what's the other one's name? David died like last year or 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty recent. I see nothing on Facebook for Wyndham Democrat event here. Actually, hold on. All right, I'll try it. I'm signing up.
No, Hockey, we're still not in on multiple devices and multiple logins and different accounts. Either they're only letting in people they recognize and know because they're not letting Kurt in either, from what he said, or they are running very late.
Seems unlikely to be running that late.
Yeah.
Let me check my email now. Signed up. Should have a link. All right. Spam maybe?
Because I signed up ahead of time. Contact the organizer.
Yeah. I just signed up now. I didn't get a link. Maybe on my phone. Oh, I got a link on my phone. I think here. It's something.
I clicked the contact the organizer button in the email and sent an email to vroman@aol.com. That in the chat, if anybody wants to email the organizer, vroman@aol.com, and ask why they're not letting us in to the chat.
So on my Zoom, it just says the host will let you in soon. So I think maybe they're late, or maybe they're like, maybe this is like all these school board meetings where they're like, oh no, too many free staters showed up. We're canceling it. We're not going to have school board meetings anymore because people don't agree with us at them. Yeah, they're not letting
Here's the thing: it's Zoom. They don't have to let us talk, even if they let us in. They can mute us. They can mute the chat. They can stop us from participating, and only let us watch. So it doesn't make sense not to let everyone in.
Dude, they let me in.
They let you in?
Yeah. How do I?
You're on your phone, not on your computer?
Yeah. Not ideal.
So go to your email and click the link from your phone and see if they let you in.
Let's see here. I'm gonna have to message to myself. Get it up on my computer because they sent me a text. Let's see here.
And they've been going the whole time?
I mean, it looks like they're in the middle of it, bro.
When that's the case, I have no problem telling everybody to email vroman@aol.com a whole bunch of bajillion times and ask why they're not letting us into the meeting.
Yeah, we're good, honest progressives. Oh, man, I wish I could hear what they're saying.
Forward me the text they sent you to my Signal, Bill.
They sent you to what?
The text they sent you to log in with your link, forward it to my Signal.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that. That's probably the move. This is good. This is good. We're in. All right, I sent you that. Join without video.
Because they're still not letting me in.
Through that link?
Yeah, through the link you just sent me, they're not allowing me in.
I'm in on my... Yeah, I'm in on my phone, but I can't hear it. And it's not gonna... We're not gonna be able to get that up here anyway. And now I've invited myself on the computer and they haven't let me in. But if they let one of us in, we can screen share.
Everybody email vroman@aol.com a whole bunch of times.
Yeah. Dang it. And then I just closed it on my phone and I'm now immediately thinking that was a mistake. Because if I had left it up on my phone, I could at least have like done a play-by-play walkthrough. Oh, now they're talking about this. Let me try again. I feel stupid. Let's see here. Yeah, I never should have got out of that. Not letting me in.
Well, this is sorely disappointing, folks, and I wish I could say I'm sorry and this was unexpected, but this is almost par for the course of the Democrats blocking people from this public event. And
well, they did it to protect democracy, so
by limiting people's access to information.
Right, yeah, no, yeah, for our democracy. Drink, everybody drink. They're just not letting systemically racist people in, because Planned Parenthood, if we defunded it, that would be sexist, and there wouldn't be enough diversity. And otherwise it's going to be like the Wild West in here, and we'll all be insurrectionists in this community, this anti-government community, just spreading misinformation and becoming domestic terrorists. This is like definitely getting triggered by all the algorithm's not going to favor this. I'm just going to read all the progressive bingo words, and then like you're never going to be allowed on YouTube again. I got all the way to systemic racism. Then it's time to start talking about the social contract on January 6th. Are you emailing them?
I'm tweeting at New Hampshire Dems. I'm emailing V Roman.
So on their Facebook page, they got 4 likes and 1 share. Which means this failure of a video, not that it's like terrible, already has more likes and more shares. Southern, I would screenshot any slides they showed, but I got off of it on my phone. Now that I'm waiting to be let back in on my phone and on the computer. So that was an epic fail on my part to not stay in on my phone. I wonder if it doesn't like tell you who or what link that you use to join with, like when you're the organizer on a meeting for Zoom. So it's not even that they know that we're using the same link.
Yeah, they are personalized links. That's why I got 3 different ones for myself under different names with different emails and different accounts. And all 3 of them are locked out and not being let in.
And now me too. Damn it.
Valerie Roman. Message on Facebook.
Shannon, there's some angry knitters at the quill. Is knitters code for something?
There's the Wednesday evening knitting circle with Carlin and Rachel at the quill.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's funny. That's cool. I was just over there too.
I did find the organizer of the event, Valerie Roman of Windham Democrats. I found her on Facebook and sent her a Facebook message, which she's not.
She's going to see your Facebook message and know that she doesn't want you in the meeting, though. Like your page is covered in libertarian propaganda.
Oh, it doesn't matter. She still then has to send a reply to me, or if she says why, I can screenshot it.
I mean, she doesn't have to. The art of the ignore is a very real art. Let's see. Let's go to their website, see what they have to say about it. The Windhams. A decade ago, the ultra extreme. Have you read this out loud on the thing yet?
Yeah, so that was their whole plug.
The event
it was
description.
A decade ago, the ultra-extreme Free State Project voted on a state to move 20,000 libertarians to, with the stated purpose to take over state government and dismantle it. New Hampshire was unfortunately the unlucky recipient of that vote. Granite State Progress, a progressive communications and research hub, has been tracking the Free State Project and its influence since 2008, paying particular attention to Free Stater activity in elections and legislation. Executive Director Zandra Rice Hawkins will discuss the status of this project and its effect on New Hampshire politics and legislation. Zandra Rice Hawkins is the founding Executive Director of Granite State Progress and serves on the America Votes New Hampshire Executive Work Group and convenes New Hampshire Healthcare Coalition, New Hampshire Gun Violence Preservation Committee. Zandra lives in Concord with her husband Brian and 2 young children, where she is a Concord City Councilor.
Dude, they're coming up with as many organizations as we are. That was quite a list. Like, I've never heard of any of these people. Granite State Progress. That's another thing. Like all these nations that are in New Hampshire that are trying to fight the Free State Project, I never hear anything about them. Like I hear about them when we talk about them, but for the most part, it's like that's not. I feel like they don't have like a news source that's like willing to cover their stuff from their perspective. I mean, maybe the union leader. But I never hear like Granite State Progress like mentioned in articles the same way that the Free State Project is. Like,
yeah, ridiculous.
It seems like they're all struggling to get momentum.
Jess was able to get in right away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's not allowed to move here and run for office to advance her beliefs, but heaven forbid anyone else does.
Yeah, didn't she move here?
Yep.
I can't believe they blocked us, Justin.
Patrick, are you able to log in?
To what? Oh, to the actual show?
They've blocked all 3 of my accounts, all 2 of my accounts on other devices, Bill's accounts on both his devices, and Kurt Howland in the chat is in the waiting room as well, not being allowed in.
Oh, I mean, I haven't even tried. How would I? I didn't ask for the link or anything like that.
Go to windems.com.
I just put a link in the chat.
Windems.org. Yeah. Oh, this is perfect. You're saving the day, Patrick.
Winhams.org.
Patrick, go to the chat and click the link I just sent you.
I'm going to get another beer.
All right.
That's literally where I was. I was like, I gotta get beer for this. All right. Let's see. Your meme has been launched. So I need to do it in the browser because I don't have the thing working. But
then they might actually let you in.
If I were to successfully do it, would I be able to?
Yep. You'd be able to share.
Share. Okay, I see it. All right.
You look so different through a screen. I've never seen you on a screen before.
Yeah.
Great hat.
Oh, we're online, so I should keep maybe the jokes not so. All right, download. So do I have to download it? I just want to do it in the browser. Don't have Zoom installed. Download it now. I don't want to do that.
So they disabled doing it through a browser.
Oh, maybe, and now it might just be Brave. Let me try it in.
No, I think Zoom is not always good for that in every browser. Yeah. I'll be right back.
All right, so I got rid of all the extra stuff at the end of your link because that's usually tracking stuff.
That was a link somebody else sent me to try. So.
Yeah, so when you see question mark and then some more numbers, that's often tracking data. And so if they'd already blocked that other link, it's quite possible that the link itself was already blocked from the beginning. But where did that go? Weird. Oh, there it is. Launch meeting. Download. Yeah, no, this is Firefox. Yes, okay. No, it won't let me do it in the browser. I don't think I can download Zoom. Oh yeah, I can. Ubuntu 64.
I mean, I'm willing to chalk this up to incompetence on the Dems' part and on being unable to host a webinar and let people into the webinar.
Right, yeah. Well, on the last one, they really didn't seem, and I commend them on that, because my favorite part about these people is that they don't lie, and except for online, they're generally not that mean. I've met a few of them in person. They're not they haven't been vicious to me or anything like that. And the representative last night, Hermit or whatever, was seemed nice enough, but they both seemed to be expecting, like, they're like, we know that you know, Free Staters are watching right now. And I think he did make a comment that he say, like, you know, I think he presumed that people were making fun of him or something. But oops.
Are they making you download the app?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me do it on there, and I don't have it installed, so this is fresh for me. So I wouldn't. Zoom is now installed. Let's see if I can find it. Zoom. Join a meeting, sign in. So I want to join a meeting. Enter meeting link or ID. So I think it would be weird if they were intentionally trying to keep this secret, although the vetting process seemed like the whole, like, we'll release the link the day of or whatever. Did they do that again where it was like an RSVP?
I think it's not so much secret as like
they don't have it yet?
No, he had to RSVP, and like some people are in, like Jess Pelletier is in. She was able to get in. Bill Domenico has texted me; he's able to get in. But all three of my accounts on both of my devices are blocked. Bill got in, tried to move to a different device.
Blocked, I mean, it's just not working, or
I'm stuck in the waiting room.
Not blocked, just denied.
They're not letting you in.
Yeah.
Okay,
correct. Like they're just making him wait in purgatory. Like our audience. By our, I mean Justin's audience. That, my friends, is the best.
Enter meeting passcode. That was in the original link. That's what that was.
Yep.
No, that was what that other number was.
I'm like,
I bet you
up
it's
there
just
security since we all started trying to join.
I mean, maybe.
Likely. Possible. Though.
I think it's just like a unencrypted passcode that was in that link you sent me. I'm having trouble like navigating my windows. There we go. All right. So if I click this link, there was a button. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't even read what was after the question mark. And password equals. Obviously a password thing. All right. Enter passcode. Enter. Join. So it's all the same. I doubt that they send out separate passcodes, but maybe they could.
No, there's separate links. Yeah.
So somebody did just send me a screenshot here of one of their slides. Zandra saying the FSP political arm, the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, provides tours of the State House to potential Free State project movers and candidates. And the gold
standard.
Doesn't
the State House do tours?
They do. Before every session, the NHLA distributes the gold standard, a leaflet that contains their recommendations on how to vote bills that day to House members. And every year, they issue a legislator report card. It just sounds like they're a political advocacy organization doing their job.
Not only that, it sounds like they're very responsible. Like, we'll rate every single one of your legislators on a set of these values. Like, do progressives have that? Like, we'll rate your progressive legislators. I feel like they're jealous.
So on that NHLA thing, Dan is in the State House and he works at the State House and does the tours. And so it's not like he does them private for the NHLA. These are just like, when I was like, what to do, the NHLA was like, oh, there's a great tour of the State House. Go check it out. And I showed up just like everyone else. And I said, hey, can I go on the tour? And the guy that gave me the tour, I was like, I know you. And he's like, yeah, you probably do from this and this and that. But he's just, maybe it's paid. I don't know. I didn't get the impression that tour guide probably makes some money there, right? I don't know, whatever. They have a
government job.
shop.
You probably make more than either of us.
Like every hour they'll give a tour of the State House. And you may or may not get a Free Stater doing that. The horse. So I'm just in
this building.
Meeting room. I don't expect to.
All right.
I don't expect that I'll be let in, but maybe. So I have my video off?
You might. What did you use?
Well, in the meantime,
what did you? Yeah, I would turn my video on, but it probably doesn't matter. You probably could leave it on.
We do have the wonderful, amazing Bill Domenico.
Oh, is he sending you more updates?
Me screenshots. Impacts on public policy in town meetings. They propose slashing town and city services, education funding, examples from Grafton and elsewhere. They're really hung up on Grafton. It seems like Grafton.
They love Grafton. It's a big talking point.
They care about. Professional licensing. Removed professional licensing and oversight. HB 200 in 2017 authorized healthcare facilities and physicians to dispense medication and use equipment and therapies which are not FDA approved. That sounds cool as shit, letting doctors make decisions about medical care. Free staters believe things like licensing and
medical care should be dictated from the top down.
Well, free staters
I want the president to make my medical decisions.
Like licensing and FDA approval are unnecessary because people are consumers who can vote with their feet. And if someone receives an infection or is served rotted meat, they will choose a different doctor or establishment next time.
Unless they're retarded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go to the Puritan because they killed people with food poisoning. Not because it's owned by a Democrat congressman, but because people die there from food poisoning. That's why I don't go. It's a market-based decision. Steven says, free staters believe in...
It can be both.
Well, and you could have like, there's so many, I feel like these people don't understand how many, you could have like private industries, just like they're saying private industries regulating, like don't the Jewish people have a, what is it? The national, it's like the organization or global organization of rabbis that makes sure food is kosher. It's totally private. There's no like government that does this. It's like, we're going to have rabbis go inspect your meat plant and make sure your meat is kosher. That's great. It's just a private solution for people who have a certain set of beliefs to solve a problem and make sure that things are up to their standards.
So Bill does inform me that there are 26 people in the webinar. That's it.
26 people. How many are watching this?
Including, we know Jess Pelletier's in there. We know Bill's in there. We know a couple other free staters are in there. So they've let a total of 26 people in. And we have at least half of that who aren't being let in.
Well, and I totally agree with Jeremy's assessment on your chat on Monday night that, like these podcasts about it are getting thousands of views and it's advertising your successes. And, I almost want to like stop these kind of view parties just to make sure that they keep doing what they're doing. I don't want to give them the idea to stop.
Right.
Well, they're not recording it. They don't put it out. We would have no way of sharing it afterwards. If we didn't do these.
Sure.
Yeah. Actually,
okay.
We're doing them a favor.
Yeah, so we don't have access to it. It'd be nice if we had access to it. But yeah, the fact that they don't want to record it, that was channel. So I've been to 2 of these in person. Those were interesting, but they also didn't want those recorded.
When did you go to these in person?
They did one in Bow like 4 years ago, and then maybe a few months after that, I think it was the same year, they did one in New Boston. Yeah.
They're doing 2 in 1 week this week. I'm impressed.
So, but these are all online. There's no in person for this.
Nobody would show up.
All right.
Like the one that they did the other day, it was all, they zoomed in together or whatever.
More impacts on public policy. The oppressive state. CICR 24 in 2016, providing that the people have the right to travel within the state and their choice of privately owned conveyance. You have a right to use the roads. She's mad that we passed a constitutional amendment that says you have a right to use the roads in your chosen vehicle.
Okay, I just want to say, like, if you took that away, wouldn't that be an oppressive state? Like, how is it not oppressive to not let, like, wouldn't that be oppressive just on its face? Like, not providing people don't have the right to travel within the state in their choice of privately owned conveyance. Like, isn't that more horrible?
Yeah, I think the oppressive state is like kind of poking fun at us, saying like, oh, they think this is so oppressive that you need driver's license. I think that's what they're saying there, is it?
Remove public safety laws. repealing laws around firearms, ammunition, and knives. I mean, and we're still the safest state in the country. And that's not even close. Undermining public education, underfunding public education, school vouchers, no accountability for homeschoolers, removing education requirements for teachers, preventing state intervention for safety and welfare of children. I mean,
I feel like
the accountability
having,
for homeschoolers,
having teachers for like young kids, like just teachers just spent. Also, that parents. What parents are going to be allowed to teach their kids what they want? No accountability. Terrible. How will the progressives force them to teach the agenda?
Yeah, it's always about the public education as a system, not educating the public. So they're complaining that they're not getting the money and that people are taking things into their own hands. Not that people aren't getting educated. They have no evidence of that.
Right. Well, this is the thought I had earlier too. We were talking about the one that slipped my mind. We were talking about property taxes. I'm like, oh, the education vouchers, the school vouchers will go a long way if those really get as much momentum as they have so far. A long way towards destroying the case for property taxes, like the high property taxes we have in New Hampshire, and then we could really be set apart from the pack.
Here she goes. Too many. The liability to hold strong to your principles of individualism, even in the face of behavior you find distasteful. That's what makes you a true libertarian. Let's take smoke, Carla explained. So if you believe in property rights, then you should believe that the property owner or the bar owner has the right to say this establishment is smoking or non-smoking establishment. And if you don't like smoke, don't go there. It's very simple. Now, the unfortunate thing is this means in a scenario with racism, maybe someone would say, I'm only going to open a blacks-only bar. No white people allowed here. They should be allowed to do that. It sounds horrible, but if we're going to stick to the principles, and if we stick to those principles from start to finish, the entire world would be a better place because at least we would know what the rules are. Here's the thing. They do this. They're doing this in Seattle and Portland and in hyper-liberal cities where people... Where what did they call it? The autonomous zone in Seattle?
Chad.
The Chaz.
Yeah.
The Capitol Hill autonomous zone. They were saying no whites allowed. And people were charging more for whites. This is done. And she's mad that Carla's pointing out that it would work.
Yeah. It's kind of like the chat we were having in the
I love that though because
today.
This was sent to me when saying Zandra sounds like she's ill. I can't hear Zandra's voice, so I can't comment on how ill she sounds.
No. But that was the chat today in the LPNH group.
I love that they have Carla saying...
Was about the chat today in the LPNH group was about discrimination, right? Remember?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's I almost want that, it's what we were talking about with discriminating people. Like, if people are discriminating against free staters, I want them to out themselves on that too. I want that all out in the open. I'm fine with people talking about what they don't like about my philosophy because I've thought about it a lot and I'm pretty sure I can defend myself constantly.
So, Free State Project leaders. 2016 was also the year the Free State Project reached its goal of collecting 20,000 signatures, and it was the year that 2 petitions started circulating online. Both of them wanted Ian Freeman stripped of power because of his views on the age of sexual consent. One of the petitions, called People Against Pedophile Defenders, featured a clip from Free Talk Live, but that clip was recorded in 2010, which means the leadership of the Free State Project had known about Ian's views on consent for years. Hey... Ian's views on age of consent have been argued to death. They're fucking awful. And it was a big part of the schism between Ian and the Free State Project. And I don't think Ian even associates with the Free State Project, at least not the corporate entity anymore. Ian's a great guy. Ian's a friend. It's retarded that they're still bringing that up.
This is also one of those things where it's like, if you have a debate, let's take Carla's quote, right? You should be able to open a blacks only bar, no whites allowed here. And then she'd said it the other way. She'd said a whites only bar. You have this debate that somebody should be allowed to do that. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's clearly a white supremacist. So if Ian has this debate, and I don't know Ian, I've never met Ian. I have no idea about Ian, but I will say if he has this debate about age of consent laws or whatever, does that make him somebody who's like a pedophile or something? Like, I don't think so. You know, it's like the same way, like having a debate that like white supremacists should be allowed to have a place where they can go be around only people like them. Like, I don't know. I guess it's different with kids, and but
some people rage when they hear certain topics. You know, even the idea of the topic will get them angry before you even get into any details. They're just like, oh,
yeah,
you know. So you can't even like have any kind of rational conversation at that point.
This is like, I mean, how many times do Free Staters have to condemn Chris Cantwell until they stop claiming Chris Cantwell is a Free Stater?
I love they have the former at the end.
You know, right, former, right. And people change.
It's not
you know, people. That's one thing that Ian's made a lot of comments on since we just had Ian up on Cantwell, because he regularly has to like apologize for it, and he's not. He's just like, you know, people change. He's like, that guy wasn't so bad when I knew him and associated with him. Then he got bad, and I disassociated with him. You know, that's how it works.
All right. Current and former Free State Project state reps. Guys, I'm going to read you a quick list of some of the people who've gotten shit done and made your life better in New Hampshire. Carol McGuire, Dan McGuire, Joel Winter,
and Dan's the one that will give you the tour.
Mike Sylvia, Tim O'Flattery, Michael Garcia, Cameron DeJong, Andrew Manus, Kyle Jones, Ed Como, Glenn Dickey, Elizabeth Edwards, Jess Edwards, Robert Hall, Calvin Pratt, Mark Warden, Keith Murphy, Laura Jones, Emily Sandblade, Jennifer Coffey, Seth Cohn, Glenn Aldrich, Keith Ammon, Amanda Bolton. Okay, we're gonna go over this list. Amanda Bolden, Dan Hines, Jason Osborne, Andrew Prout, Eric Schlein.
Yeah, there's some interesting characters in here, right?
This is so outdated. Somebody go tell Amanda Bolden.
Coffey.
Somebody go tell Amanda Bolden that Granite State Progress is calling her a Free Stater, and like see how kindly she takes that.
Well, there is a title here: current or former,
Jennifer Coffey,
Free State Project state reps. Right. So it could be applicable to her. She was formerly both.
Some of these, like Amanda Bolden, would scoff and be majorly offended at somebody calling her a Free Stater, and most Free Staters would be majorly offended at insinuating that she's a libertarian or a friendly person. Elizabeth Edwards wouldn't call herself a Free Stater any longer. She's still a very nice person, though, but she is very much become a progressive Democrat.
Jennifer Coffey.
And this isn't even including
there's a lag.
Yeah, this isn't even including some of the more outspoken current like ones that are like the bigger deal. Like, where's Melissa Blazek?
Like Sylvia.
This is great. Oh God, this is absolutely rich. Keith. All right, what's the next slide I got sent?
By the way, thank you so much, Bill Domenico, for sending all this stuff.
You're
really helping us out.
Real MVP.
He's the real hero here.
Be doing something else tonight.
We should get him up. He's sending us stuff from a computer, right? We should get him up on the screen if he'd be down.
Tracks the Free State Project, and this is what Granite State Progress does. This is what Granite State Progress does and what they use their billionaire out-of-state money for. They track the Free State Project and its influence, paying particular attention to Free Stater activity in elections and legislation. Members running for political office often hide or deny their FSP affiliation from voters and downplay their extreme beliefs when asked to challenge this. GSP researches and compiles a list of FSP candidates and electeds for distribution in local communities and to members of the media, educates the public about Free State Project, its members' beliefs and influence, and acts as a resource for affected communities to gather support, network with one another about how to handle the Free State Project and its members.
The downplay part. Like, usually it's because they come out with outrageous examples, and you have to be like, well, no, I don't want to destroy all education. You know, I want to change it fundamentally, but I still want an educated public. And they'll be like, you're downplaying that.
Downplaying is the misrepresentation.
Right. Yeah, like
we're downplaying misrepresentations. That's all.
I have to correct you, but that's not downplaying.
Yeah.
And usually, often we're more extreme than they even get at. I'm like, no, it's much more extreme than you imagine.
Yeah, you're just painting it in the worst way. Like, you could say something way more extreme and we would agree with it. You're just painting it in the wrong way.
Right. Extreme in a different way, but yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, because they'll think that something is extreme. We want to defund public schools, not because we want kids to be uneducated, but they'll be like, they want your kids to be uneducated. It's like, no. We just want to abolish all government schools. Yeah, we want your kids to be educated, just not by government schools.
I mean, so truly like that. I mean, that by extension is, I guess, a logical conclusion, but really I just don't want anyone to be forced to pay for anyone else's anything.
Correct.
I also don't like that the government's taking, having children and running them through their systems and teach them whatever they want to teach them.
And they do a terrible job.
That's what every government in the world does it, and they all do it for their own particular reasons.
Right.
So that's by extension, but primarily I don't want to be paying for this shit. And I don't think it's really the threats though. It's I'm paying for a lot of stuff I don't want to be paying for. Education is just but really the threats are fewer. They threaten you a few times, property taxes, income taxes, and then they spend it on a bunch of different things that I don't like, and some things I do like. But I just want the taxation to stop.
Well, if you had your own money, you could spend it on that shit anyway, couldn't you? This is not a hard math problem. Eliminate middleman Bob, this guy is basically lining his pockets and saying he's going to pay for all your stuff. And then if he does, he pays the worst contractor for it. You don't get a good product or service. And then this other guy's getting rich off of your money when you could just pay the person you wanted anyway.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and that's the corollary to companion to the Free State Project, the Progressive State Project, is if Democrats just got together somewhere, first of all, they'd find out that they probably don't agree on much. But if they started getting together more, they could just make their own state somewhere. It doesn't have to be
here's my favorite slide so far. Talking about the Free State Project Watch and Zandra bragging about her little pet project of chronicling the Free State Project and doing media outreach, digital outreach, mail, and public events, and to narc on people for being Free Staters. And this is my favorite slide because I'm familiar with Free State Project Watch. Let me bring up their website.
Mm-hmm.
Free State Project Watch is what they are. They just hate Free Staters and keep a list of Free Staters.
And it hasn't been updated in forever.
Has not been updated since 2017.
Yeah. Okay, that's about what it was. Yeah, that's the year I moved. And I remember they made a dossier of it was 30 people or something like that.
Right.
All cross-linked and everything. I think the club even had a page or something like that. But and it really it was interesting because I learned about from Free Staters I hadn't met yet, and even some that I already had met, I learned more about them, and I found it informative. And
there's one Clarence, the nicest guy in the world, he was running for something, and they wrote a hit piece on him, and the hit piece was he's known to associate with degenerates. And then degenerates such as Andrew Shire Dude Vermiglio, who lives above the quill, and is known for wasting taxpayer money by fighting parking tickets in court.
Yeah, I wonder though, when they say that, did they feel that they were saying a secret? The guy has a picture of his face or had, glass a giant poster of himself in his window. Yeah. There was no secret where he lived.
Yeah. All right.
That dude sounds like a character.
He is.
Regular monitoring. Breaking. Governor Sununu considered Free State Project member Jody Underwood for New Hampshire Education Commissioner. I'm just going to say that'd be the greatest goddamn thing in the world if Jody was made Education Commissioner. I mean, Edelblatt's been pretty great. We've had a pretty great education commissioner the past 6 years in New Hampshire with Edelblatt, who is largely we have an education commissioner whose own kids have never stepped foot in a public school.
Mm-hmm.
But Jody, kids have never stepped foot in a school. She'd be amazing.
Yeah. And her husband, Ian, is also like, I maybe I just idealize him too much, but like I see him as like the most philosopher among us. Just a big thinker, and he puts a lot of time into, as does she, into thinking about education. And I haven't been there for the process. I would imagine they do a ton of it together, but a lot on education and politics and education. In fact, I wish I knew their website off the top of my head. I don't know it. Justin, do you know their website? They've got a great website. With
not off the top of my head, I don't.
He's got all those things he wrote up.
COVID-19 and reopen. Hundreds rally in Concord demanding governor reopen New Hampshire. Like, so the slide right after talking about Sununu is like the pet of the Free State Project is saying that the Free State Project hates Sununu. But yeah, no.
Yeah, well, it's so funny.
This was not even all Free Staters. I'm in this picture somewhere. I was at this rally somewhere. There was less than half of that crowd was Free Staters. That was just New Hampshire citizens who were pissed off.
There was some post earlier that who was it? I think it was the Plymouth area Democrats.
This is Jody's website, Patrick.
A whole graphic.
Yeah, Jody and Ian. It's a bunch of education, philosophy, little tidbits, all particularly relating to New Hampshire, but they're well written. If you ever see him speak or read some of his pieces, they're concise, well written.
We'll put that in the chat. You guys should have that website if you want to know who the best education commissioner New Hampshire almost had would have been.
So the Plymouth Dems earlier put out a thing. It was porcupines. It was a graphic they made. Porcupines, like with Chris Sununu tied to like a stake that said "coward in chief," and the porcupine said "Free Staters," and it was like a no longer useful idiot. But it was hilarious because they made the graphic calling him a coward, and that's like what libertarians kind of think he's a coward. And so it really is something we agree on. It really is a weird point of agreement. Like they don't like him, we don't like him. How is he here? Why is he here?
I know. That's the frustrating part about like, being a libertarian is whenever you talk to like a conservative or a liberal, it's like, no. I also don't like Trump. Okay. But I also don't like Joe Biden. I don't like the whole office of president.
Right. Yeah. I think Sununu does well because he's a milquetoast fence sitter, right? He really waits a long time to read the temperature and like make a political move. That's why he's so late on everything, every decision he makes. And sometimes makes the wrong one. He doesn't have principles of his own. He's like a puppet person,
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't know him. I only know like the politics that he puts out, and
I'm not a fan of Chris Sununu. I'm not a fan of Chris Sununu. I love Carla. Carla's amazing and incredible.
Carla's awesome.
But they're using this graphic to try and accuse Chris Sununu of being a white nationalist, and they couldn't come up with any other picture.
For hanging out with an African refugee?
Yeah, with any picture from any other Republican. They had to pick the picture of like the one Republican candidate who happens to be an immigrant from Africa. Even though she's white, like he picked an immigrant woman to say he's a racist white nationalist. I mean, brilliant.
Yeah, that's a bad move. Like, I don't know. I guess most people don't know. Maybe I think more people know who Carla is than I realize.
And
she does pretty well on her Senate race.
They can't keep going without the grift. Granite State Progress needs your help. You don't have to donate to Granite State Progress. I mean, if you want to donate to what Granite State Progress is really advertising, fsp.org/give to donate to the Free State Project right there. Or go and get your tickets to Liberty Forum at New Hampshire NHLibertyForum.com, where we can come talk about all of this in person, and you can see how great everyone is. But Zandra can't make it through a thing without a grift. Pay no mind to my grift.
Can we talk about
around the bottom of the screen?
Can we talk about the progressive math in this graphic?
$10.
Okay, 10 times 10.
Yep. 10 new monthly donors
our goal
each
is
month.
An average of $10 a month. 100% of your donations go to fuel progressive campaigns. Okay. 50 times 2, we're seeing 50 new, or we're seeking 50 new volunteers to donate 2 hours a week to our work. 5,200 hours. Okay, so I was thinking that this is like a whole equation where your $100 was going to get in $5,200 or 5,200 hours of work. I'm like, no way. Like that's some UBI shit right there. You can't do that.
That's a terrible infographic anyway. Like no matter what, it just has way too many numbers and math going on.
They don't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm just like 10 times 10,
100%,
50 times 2.
That's my favorite one. Is 50
Are we
times
getting at
2.
100 and then it's like 5,200? I'm like, what are we counting here? And everything, to make it make any sense, you have to read all this small script, which, I get it. It's like small. Maybe it's not, if it was full screen, it might be a little bit bigger, but that's like a whole like paragraph of writing I have to do to figure out some nonsense.
I don't want to blow up the spot, but they've let at least one Free State Project board member into the stream, but they haven't let us in.
Okay. Well, yeah, I never got in.
I don't want to blow up who it is, but they never let us in, and that's just annoying to me.
Yeah.
I'm personally offended now. Now I have something against these people.
It looks like Zandra is using the same slides from the presentation in the link above. Did I miss that link, Kurt? I'll scroll back and I'll find it. But if she's using the same slides, clearly they haven't been updated, so she hasn't updated those slides in forever.
Yes. Yeah, it's the two that I went to were identical, and then the in-person ones, and then years later when I saw the first online thing, it seemed like it was the same. And then I watched the whole one from Sunday, and it was like a little bit different, but basically the exact same thing. So it's a fairly like stale presentation that they've been giving for years.
Yeah, no, I really want to see somebody go out and tell Amanda Bolden that the progressives are accusing her of still being a free stater.
Should I tweet at her?
Note, Zandra has her pronouns. For what it's worth, like the pronouns, I had thought like on one of the fake accounts I made to try and get in, I named myself Jim from Manchester, and I put a Jim, they, them as my pronouns. I figured that'd be a given to get in.
Yeah. 1% Native American.
Yeah, I feel like if you said Jim, he, him,
that's what you missed.
You'd be more likely to get in. If you said like Jana, they, them, that might have worked,
Yeah. All right. I missed some comments from earlier. Back on the segregation slide. Yeah, segregation is back, and it is a progressive virtue now. It's no longer the white racists who want to segregate. It's the progressives who want to segregate to make up for white racism.
Yeah. Two wrongs make a right.
Comedian.
Everyone remembers that saying.
Hilarious.
So okay. I'm not going to be blowing up his spot because apparently they're letting him talk. Steve Valet is in the stream, and apparently now I'm mad we're not in because Steve is actually going back at her in the stream, I'm being told, and they're debating.
They're fighting back.
We gotta get. Can't anyone join with it?
Yeah. Is Bill on his computer? Would Bill be down to join the stream?
There are more people in this
share
stream. There are more people watching this stream across 4 platforms than are in the stream, according to what Bill told me.
Yeah.
In their meeting, right?
So,
hey, Bill, would Bill be down to join this stream though? Is he watching it from his computer?
Or any of those people? Kurt.
Let me see here.
Because all it would take is for somebody who's already watching it to be able to join this stream, and then we could share it.
They're asking about the Progressive State Project now.
That's amazing. That's amazing. This is like listening to. This is like doing sports commentary while listening to a football game. Luckily, the audience is very loyal. You guys are great. I'm still talking in the chat. So, what are they saying about the Progressive State Project?
Yeah, Bill says they're asking about the Progressive State Project. Steve is taking a moderate view. They mentioned that Sununu passed a law to protect himself against protesters because he did not feel safe.
They didn't like that? They probably
No.
did like that. So, can we get any of these people who do have access on this stream here?
I sent Bill the link. We'll
question.
see if he can manage it.
All right.
Kurt, they know all your accounts? But I'm trying to see if he sent me any slides that I missed. It's just a lot of, like, I wish I had Zandra's commentary on it because it's a lot of just pictures. Oh, here's one. I didn't grab this one. Download. An article or an ad from Foster's Daily Democrat. In the race to fill Stratford 13 House seat vacated by Mike Hardy, Republican Honey Pooterbaugh has been criticized for being a free stater.
Mute your mic if you're going to sneeze. I don't want to get COVID.
Sorry about that.
All right. OKBH, he didn't feel safe. Bah, he had a quarter of the state police with him. The people there did have a better claim to not feeling safe. I agree.
Interesting.
It seems to me that the Sunday presentation was new. Well, Zandra's is the same one. Yeah, the Sunday presentation was entirely new, and it was not Zandra. It was two former state reps. And it wasn't Granite State Progress. It was just the Democratic Party.
Oh, interesting. It was like new content, but it was like this. It seemed like similar content, but a new presentation.
Right.
This one seems, it's the Granite State Progress presentation. The Sunday one, though, had like a similar.
The Sunday one was an incredible ad for the Free State Project. Again, if you guys didn't catch it, they apparently don't have a problem at the letting people into that one. They let Carlin in, although maybe it's because Carlin used to be a Democrat and she's still on their list of approved people.
Yeah, maybe.
But Carlin wasn't available to do this tonight. She had to go
How
knitting.
did
Yeah.
How do the Democrats feel about Chris Sununu protecting himself from protests with that town ordinance?
I don't know.
His brother is like the mayor of the town or whatever that he lives in. Nothing incestuous about that. Yes, I mean that they are doing each other. That's called the 69 of the state, folks.
But I still have not been let in. This is bothering me. They haven't answered my emails yet either. I did email them.
Dude, like I said, it's the art of the ignore. I don't think they're going to write you back. As I was saying, the 69 of the state, basically, that's when you're the governor of the state and then your brother's the mayor of the town that you live in. You guys can just like have beer and decide what the rules are for your town. Like, it's cool.
But I think they've probably entered the Q&A section, which is how Steve is able to speak up.
Gotcha.
And how the Progressive State Project ends up coming up, which means no more slides. It's only scheduled to run till 8. Here we go.
Yes.
We have Bill here.
People bring up the Progressive State today.
So, Bill, if you look on the bottom of the screen in the studio, there should be a button that says share, and it should allow you to screen share.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Bill, thank you so much, by the way.
Been the real MVP this whole time.
Yes.
Okay, stand by.
Standing. Sitting.
Screen, yep. Yep, no problem. 2 monitors.
So have they entered Q&A, and that's why they're bringing up the Progressive State Project? Not getting audio from it.
Yes, that's what's going on.
Okay.
Have you got it?
I've got the video, but not the audio. Oh, no, it's just quiet.
I can hear the audio.
It's just real quiet.
Is Frank? I wonder if Frank is Frank Staples. That'd be so funny.
I'll try turning it up.
Yeah.
Dude is everywhere.
It is Frank Staples.
So that they let Footloose in, but none of us.
And if you don't get our newsletter,
Oh, there it is. Footloose is in there.
But they
Great.
had a hearing today about not having
so that they let
accreditation
in,
days
none of
for
us.
schools that have to go remote because
Oh,
of
there it
COVID
is.
outbreaks.
Footloose
So
is
if you
in
have
there.
to do a snow day, you can,
He's not in.
they'll
They were
make
just talking about him.
accommodations for you if you have to go remote for COVID. Then it just doesn't count as an educational day for students. Because at the same time,
They were just talking about him.
partly because of the Free State Project and others who are opposed to things like that.
I know we have a former education commissioner. His name is Ginny Berry, and she was a professor of mine at Plymouth State University, and she was very pro-education, pro-public schools, because I had a personal relationship with her, and so I was shocked to see Frank Edelblum leading the department. I just could not believe it. It was very, very shocking, and I think that everybody in New Hampshire needs to know this, because it is not how New Hampshire does things. I went to UNH, I went to Plymouth State University. This is not New Hampshire. This is something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have time for maybe one more question. Brandon Bennett, you have your hand up.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Brandon.
So I've been writing down questions throughout, so I mean, I guess if I could pick one of them, or can I ask all of them?
Well, just ask it depends on the length of the answers too, because we normally end this part of our program like at 7:30, and we're running late too. But so I want to end it by 7:50.
So why don't I just list them in the order that I wrote them down, and then if anybody wants to jump on any of them with any answers that you might have.
First of all, could I interject? Are you a member of the Free State Project?
I'm not, but I'm friends with a lot of them.
Okay.
And I don't like echo chambers, so I'd like to hear opposing arguments.
Okay.
To legitimate questions. So the first one was, you mentioned early on that the secession drive kicked up during 2000.
Whoop, you're on mute again.
Mute again.
And we lost the video.
Sorry, a call came in. You mentioned that secession drive kicked up in 2017 when Trump was a fairly newly elected president. Given the concerns that were going on at the time that he was leading the United States into a fascist direction, would it be worse to cooperate with said direction than to be prepared to secede? Next question. You mentioned the disproportionate effect of private discrimination upon people in marginalized communities. Would you say that a hypothetical bar discrimination situation is worse than the non-hypothetical state oppression that marginalized communities face at the hands of law enforcement every day to now, since forever? Third question. Why do you not mention that Christopher Cantwell was a police collaborator and should be at least considered to be a public relations nightmare for the state as much as he's a public relations nightmare for anybody else, given their record of cooperating with fascists? I do want to thank you for discouraging any libertarians from moving to New Hampshire. I would much rather they move here to Atzlan. also currently known as California, Arizona, Tejas. Fifth, the Libertarian Party was founded in 1972 and had as part of its first platform full recognition of the rights of all people to become married to whoever they would like to. What year did the Democratic Party platform endorse marriage rights for homosexual persons? You mentioned the idea of free staters as colonizers. Do you not see the
This
irony
guy's
of
awesome.
the colonization of this entire earth by the organization style of the police state as much more of a colonization attempt? 7.
Distinctly get these other ones, but I think if we keep going, I'm gonna lose my track record here over here.
Understandable. I'd email what questions I was going to be asking. Have you considered using the 10th Amendment to nullify the Second Amendment with New Hampshire? You could use that rights. Subject to popular contest. Question to Mr. Roman when
Even they like him.
To go the way you want. You are obligated to submit and obey to the popularity contest results. Do humans not have rights that are not subject to popularity contests?
Okay, Brandon, I'm gonna stop you there because I do want to be respectful of Wyndham's time, and also I'm just gonna talk through a couple of things real quick. The timeline has nothing to do with Trump. It's 2001 announcement, 2003 vote on the state, and that one's off. On your search around police state and kind of getting to Black Lives Matter stuff, I will tell you wholeheartedly, I do not want the vigilante Free State Project gun owner down the street to be my mutual aid response, because I have seen the points and positions of that individual, and that is somebody who's going to protect me and my family or to have shared understanding. Chris Cantwell did become an informant. Yeah, he's a crybaby. That's why he's known as the crying Nazi. Nobody wants to work with him, and he's a sellout for anything that he thinks will help him. LGBTQ, don't talk to me about free staters and LGBT rights after some of the votes they've taken at the state house. 10th Amendment, we're not a tender group here. We're with the wrong group. We're not by that. And then rights to popularity contest, I will tell you, we've also got the vote records and the state project members. They are trying to dismantle protections and things that help ensure that all of us can live in a healthy, safe community, and that is why we should not allow them to use their growth here in the state of New Hampshire.
What was her response to the 10th Amendment?
She said, "We are not a tenther organization. Go somewhere else."
No, there are some.
What? We don't solve problems like that.
She said, "We are not a tenther organization. Go somewhere else."
2017 about how many free staters and those who were also involved in the secession organizing were running for office. The Republican House Speaker at the time and his chief of staff sent our report around. It became a topic of discussion at the GOP State Republican Executive Committee. There was a discussion about moving away from him. The Republican speaker said, "We cannot work with you. They will violate their oath to the New Hampshire Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, immediately upon taking office." The governor, Sununu, was the top Republican in the state at the time. For all intents and purposes, leader of the Republican Party. Big state meeting, they came away, and they did not decide to move away from their collaboration with Free State Progress. What did happen was that speaker got tapped for a commissioner role and was no longer speaking on his own record in public and helping lead Republican state initiatives. So did he get tapped for that? Who knows? But we do have some support in different communities of people who are also concerned regardless of political ideology. I think that is important to know, so there's a little bit of hope. That it's why it's so important that we continue to pressure on this. Now, back to Val. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zandra.
Can I say one thing since my name, Brandon, you brought up my name and something. I don't look at anything as a popularity contest or go along with what the popularity is. I just believe that, democracy is not a perfect world. Libertarianism either. Democrats aren't. Republicans aren't. And progress is slow. It's far too slow in my mind in a lot of ways. But that doesn't mean that you just have to keep fighting for it. Eventually, hopefully, you will win. But that doesn't mean you try to hide your intentions, or it doesn't mean that you succeed. It means that you try to improve from within best you can, and you don't quit trying.
Very good. That's a nice positive thing to end on, I think. Thank you, Tony Roman. So I want to thank Zandra so much, and for everyone here for not only all the information, but a really good discussion after. And I would ask that the people that are Wyndham residents, if you wouldn't mind staying on the call for 5 minutes with some announcements. And the rest, you're free to leave. And again, Zandra, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks much. Talk to you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so clearly Xander's information hasn't been updated, as we could tell from the slides that Bill did send us before jumping on. But how? So clearly Xander's information has been updated, as we could tell from the slides that Bill did send us before jumping on. But how? Trying to get here. Oh, there we go. Like, how wildly inaccurate does their information have to be, and how old does their information have to be? And Bill just jumped off. Thank you, Bill, so much for doing that.
Bill, you're the man, dude. Not just because you have the same name as me.
And I'm so glad we caught that end, because those last questions were incredible.
Well, yeah, that was something.
That was amazing.
What was his name? Brandon from...
Brandon Bennett from California, Arizona, Tejas.
He said Aztlan?
Yeah, he called it Tejas.
And I don't know who he is, but I want to know him.
Yeah, and Bill Domenico seemed like he knew him. He sent a message to the chat. He's like Brandon Bennett.
Yeah.
He's out of state.
So he used the Aztec word for like the Southwest.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which one of you FSP jerks crapped on her lawn? She seems like she has some personal vendetta to pursue for this for so long.
No. She got paid to move.
Yeah, she gets paid to do this.
Like, it's not personal vendetta. It's literally her job.
It's purely business. Yeah.
We do this for fun and for free. And then she gets paid to figure out ways, like the best strategy to make us look bad.
Totally. If she was doing it for fun, she'd be having a much better time, but she's not. She's doing it for work, and so she's kind of miserable, I think. Doesn't sound fun. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's more fun watching her do it and watching her fly fail. Like at least the presentation on Sunday was updated information. It was new information, not new information.
They were a lot more upbeat too. They were happier to do it. Yeah. They were kinder overall.
There was some new information to me in that presentation earlier in the week. But
really?
About some of the organizations they listed that are working for liberty. I'm like, I've never heard of them. I need to go.
Oh, which one have you heard of? I thought I read
Josiah Bartlett Center was one I hadn't heard of.
Oh, yeah, I went to one of their events. They did a little seminar or talk down at the Mill Museum 3 years ago. They rented out the museum during the evening and did a talk on it was like a history of socialist anarchist experiments or something like that. Socialist enclaves.
This time I'm a gem.
Okay, BH, I pulled up their donor list from Open Secrets, and the top contributor was Mike Bloomberg.
That guy was just like, I got billions. I'm spending on politics this year. Fuck it.
Southern that's my sister, and I don't know whether or not to take him seriously or if.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think the stale of how stale her presentation is, I mean, is just reflected in how few people showed up. Like, there was more people watching this stream across multiple platforms than there were in her stream. And half the people in her stream were Free Staters.
And that wasn't a public stream. Like, everybody who wanted to watch that was there because that was their audience. Oh, what's up, puppy? Look at that dog. He looks like he ran into a wall. And his eyes popped out of his head a little bit.
Yeah.
It's crazy that, like, we can make dogs into whatever animal we want, and some people choose that.
Yep.
I still make
I
fun
would
of
rather
Patrick.
my dog. I want my dog to be as close to a wolf as possible.
You don't.
Yes,
I mean,
I
it's
do.
possible. It depends what possible is to you.
Well, no, for like it to be a dog that's mine. You know, like I don't.
Some
want a
people
wolf.
get too close.
Yeah, I'm like half wolf. Like I'm all about.
Yeah, they're like, it's mainly wolf. I'm like, it looks like it. It doesn't look like a domesticated animal. You have no control of that. So
One of his grandparents was a dog.
Hey, at Porkfest, I remember my cat jumped off my shoulder and it scared Alfredo so much he almost strangled himself on his collar and leash when he was trying to run away.
Yeah, I jump back. It's funny. Yeah, he'll chase a cat that runs. And a cat that doesn't run, he's totally chill with. And a cat that comes after him, he runs away. Like, that's just how it is. But if a cat, just runs from him, he's after it.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
That's a game, though. That's how games work.
I loved your I don't know, was it tweet or whatever after Porkfest when you were saying that you thought you'd have the cutest pet there, and then someone had to roll in with a baby goat.
Yeah, that annoyed me. Like, why can't Zandra do a presentation about how Free Staters are domesticating goats, and it's just weird?
Oh, that probably needs some traction too. Like, look at these weird, freaky animal people.
They got goats on leashes.
What's wrong with them?
And that is, I think the level to which, now that I've had a refresher of Zandra's presentation, the level to which the misrepresentation, even though it's not like I didn't see many factual lies, if any, on our presentation. I remember that from seeing it in the past, but the level of misrepresentation is definitely higher than the one on Sunday. Like the angle from which they come at stuff. The one on Sunday, like, I couldn't believe they could even say those things with a straight face when they were like saying like they're trying to destroy our community, and then they're like, and they're helping people move and throwing potlucks and inviting to their neighbors. It's like, how can you say those words with a
That's
straight
how you
face?
destroy a community.
There's
community
destroyers.
There ain't nothing worse you can do for your community than helping people move, throwing potlucks, and getting people together. That's the worst thing you would want for your neighborhood.
During festivals, oh my God.
The only valuable takeaway.
God forbid somebody start a We Heart West in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Cleanups, neighborhood cleanups, those are terrible for the people.
Oh my God.
Well, I think the only valuable takeaway from the entire presentation, the entire thing Zandra did, all the slides that Bill sent us, and what we've seen historically, was that last set of questions. Because that last set of questions, he actually challenged her, and she refused to answer them. Like, on the
don't even talk to me about this. Like, what?
Like, libertarians have been supporting
the
gay
Chris
rights
Cantwell
since
crying Nazi
1972.
answer was pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he did become an informant, and he cried and whined, and that's why he's called crying Nazi.
He was also soundly rejected by the Free State Project community.
She didn't mention that part yet, but the rest of it was pretty accurate and funny. This is the one part I liked.
But like, the libertarians have been supporting gay rights since 1972. When did they go, don't even talk to me about gay rights? I'm like,
right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, she said because of what Free Staters have done, probably in the State House. And that I think comes from a legitimate, different view of what those laws mean, because the progressive way of helping people is not to set them free, right? Where I think you're helping people be all they can be when you set them free, and they think that you're helping people when you tax other people to subsidize these, to pay for past wrongs, or to make extra acknowledgments and create new holidays and enforce new mandates. And that's how you help people. If there's not a mandate, how can you really help anyone?
Right, and her whole thing of the secession movement is evil and awful, and it started around 2017. And his point, okay, well, the secession movement started right as Trump got elected. What is worse to you, preparing to comply with Trump's America or preparing to not be part of Trump's America? And she wouldn't answer the question. She
His
just wanted to
questions
say
were
no.
wicked good.
What was the part about violating constitutions? Okay, BH. She went on about at some point years past where when Free Staters first started running for office, the Republican majority leader was complaining about Free Staters being in the State House, saying they weren't really Republicans. They were going to violate their oath to the Constitution.
Only Republicans keep their oaths to the Constitution.
Well, the Constitution is a garbage document anyways.
I'm just saying her argument on its face is silly if she's a Democrat. Like,
right.
Well, if he was a real Republican, he'd keep his oath to the Constitution. Like, okay, do you? Like, what does this mean to you?
You could also hold one thing as a principle and ideal and still keep your promises and your contracts. So I can have even though I have a certain ideal, it doesn't mean that like if I have a contract with the government, I'm just like, screw you guys. Like I can still do that. I can hold two things in my head at once.
Well, so here's a question: what is somebody's role when they're elected? To represent their principles or to represent their
right?
Well, their constituents.
It's representative government, so it's their principles on the idea that the people that elected them to represent them, but
because they believe
themselves. You don't have to vote like that. You don't have to vote with what your constituents think. It's just their job to vote you out if you don't vote if they disagree.
I agree with that. I also think though it's like, the more times, if you believe that people are going to elect you to be a representative and make the decisions for them, it's almost like you expect them to abdicate the responsibility to you. So like, I would rather it be, and people talk about like a representative democracy. I really don't think that it is. I think in most cases people are like, well, no, they've abdicated this responsibility to me. I know better than them because I've gotten myself as an ingredient in the soup of government, right? So I know what the soup's made of. So they have delegated to me the responsibility of understanding. That's how I really feel about this whole representative democracy thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but so
are you saying like it's a two-way thing, right? So like you get voted in to represent people and to be a two-way interaction with the state for your representatives. Where I'm interpreting, if I were to say an elected official, I'm interpreting the will or the whatever the people I'm representing's will, and then also interpreting the government's the effect of the government on them to my constituents.
Right. So, but you have to, and I believe this, you have to be an effective medium because the average citizen honestly don't read like the legal terminology, and if they do, they don't get it. And so you really do have to be the medium. There really is, if we're going to do this, there really is an abdication of responsibility. And I almost would like rather it not be that way. But if that's what it is,
so,
you almost
on the 10th Amendment.
When I see people say, my constituents don't want this, I'm like, what do you want? Like, what do you believe in, motherfucker?
Right.
Like, why don't you tell me what you think? Because you're the guy who's there to understand and know and do. These people have picked you to be the decider. So what do you believe? Why are you deciding what you decide? And abdicating
what are your principles? Actually have some principles.
Abdicating the description or the understanding or the reasons for your decisions is like putting it back on the voters who chose you to represent them. So
right.
Like, why do you say this?
Because they didn't just choose you to represent them. They
didn't ask you in the conversation either. They didn't just not choose you. Like they didn't ask you for a long, detailed description. They asked you, like, based off of your specific, like, do you yes or no on these 5 or 10 questions, right? They didn't get to talk to you, even like most cases on a local level, maybe, but state or like national governments, you didn't get to talk to Maggie Hassan or freaking Chris Sununu and like get an understanding of why he's going to make the decisions he makes. So if he's for the same position as you on abortion, you don't know that's because he has the same values as you. So whatever the issue is, basically people have abdicated the responsibility. So there really is this thing when I hear people say, and I emailed all the state reps last week about the New Hampshire independence thing. when I hear some of them say like, well, I don't support this because my constituents don't, I'm like, you didn't talk to your constituents, all of them, motherfucker. Like, you didn't do that.
Don't
this is a
speak for
representative
other people.
democracy where I want to know what your opinion is.
Don't
why don't
speak
you
for
tell
other
me?
people.
You know?
Yeah, whenever someone starts speaking for other people, I'm automatically they're sus right away. One thing I thought on that video was when Zandra, whatever her name is, talked about the 10th Amendment. She's just like, we're not a 10th Amendment organization. And when someone says the word 10th Amendment, like when we're talking about people not knowing the law or not knowing context for the law, like you have to know the context there and you have to know it to know what people are even talking about. Do you think that she was saying 10th Amendment from a point of understanding exactly what that person meant, what that Brandon guy meant when he said it, or from a point of just, I've heard of this idea and I know I'm supposed to be against it, right? It's what the 3%ers and the 10th Amendment Center and the Libertarians like, so I have to be against it. I mean, she's not an idiot, so she might have read the 10th Amendment and know something about how people would like to use that amendment. But I also wouldn't be surprised if she hasn't and she just knows it as like 10th Amendment bad.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. You know, when you don't answer like that, you're like, oh, you want a 10th Amendment organization? Go elsewhere. You know, it's like, okay, so basically like that's a team thing, not a reasons thing, not a logic thing. It was about what organization you should be aligned with. Isn't that what she said? Like, if you want a 10th Amendment organization, you have to look elsewhere.
She said go somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're not a 10th Amendment organization, meaning that they don't have a principle. They have more like they don't have an ends, they just have a means. They're like, we're just funded to track the Free State Project, not to do anything else. Yeah. So she didn't have to answer that question also because of that.
Correct.
All right, well, I got another Zoom meeting I got to jump out to, so I'll get y'all later.
Well, we're at about the 2 hours.
All right, later, man.
The video so the video is not too long to download, so I can cut out a lot of the useless stuff till we got to build slides. But thank you everyone who hung in for the whole 2 hours. Kurt, Steven, Southern Northeast, OKBH, Shannon bounced on us. I think Shannon bounced on us. I don't blame her. They wouldn't let us into the meeting. But and everyone watching on all the other platforms too. No episode this Friday. This Friday we're going to the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's V for Vendetta party. Patrick, it's sold out, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no sales, but yeah, it's there's no more tickets. No more RSVP. Yeah.
I saw Mario posted there's no more tickets. I'm like, well, that's incredible. It'll be the biggest Libertarian Party event in New Hampshire history.
Oh, great. She's right here. I'll tell her she doesn't know.
Yeah. And then we'll be back next week. I got a couple shows next week with Karen Ross, former British diplomat who testified before the UN in 2003 about weapons of mass destruction and then blew the whistle on the CIA making stuff up when he was a weapons inspector. And then Friday next week with Aria DeMezzo, who didn't win her election for Keene Mayor, but should have, because it would have been awesome. But until next time, guys, be free. Thanks again for tuning in and joining us tonight. Make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button on YouTube and turn on notifications to get alerted every time we go live. If you enjoyed this content, you can join our production team on Patreon by following the link in the description. And don't forget to follow on social media and join our community Discord channel by following the links in the description as well. The best part of all of this is the community that we're building and growing. So go ahead and join us. And thanks once again to our awesome sponsors and patrons for making all of this possible. And if you can't catch the show live, you can always catch it the next day on YouTube, Odyssey, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, and wherever else you listen to your favorite podcasts. So until next time, everybody, be free.